Good day, viewers, and welcome to today's Sport Trap Show. I am your host, Brian Munango, unpacking the latest sports news. Well, before we do get into sports, here in studio, we would like to wish everyone a happy Independence Day. It's definitely a beautiful day indeed. Well, with that, let's get into today's hit list. Well, the first training session, inclusive of both the local and foreign players based, took place yesterday at the VITS Football Club in Johannesburg. All 24 players reported for training. The session focused on positioning without the ball. Namibia are preparing for the African Cup of Nations match against Cameroon on Friday. As you can see there, the boys are on the field getting ready for the next game with the likes of Shalulile leading the pack there. Hopefully he can get us some goals against Cameroon. Well, Paulus Kambongi Electric CC donates a football kit to the under-20 Kapako constituency football team that will participate in the Kavango West Governors slated to take place later this week. In the Pungu constituency, there is well some other youth leaders donated items such as goats and food for the team. We have a short interview here, so please do stay tuned.
Mr. Kabongi, can you just tell us how did you come about to sponsor this football kit to this team? You know, what's the name of the team?
Yeah, the name of the team actually is a team for the constituency.
Yes.
I'm also a resident of Kappa constituency. So the team were asking for an assistance, being food, any other equipment regarding for sport. So as a company, we decided to do something, just a little thing for them, just to give them a soccer kit.
Okay, no, thank you very much, sir.
Well, the Namibia Swimming Federation, NASFED, held an aqua pentathlon this past weekend at the Olympia swimming pool. This pentathlon had 5 events, and each athlete had to do one of those events that were taking place there. This was the final pentathlon for the year, which was to set up or prepare swimmers for the upcoming South African Nationals. We have a small highlight package for you there, so please do enjoy.
My name is Brian Henderson. I'm from Dolphin Swimming Club. So we are now currently still at the Aqua Pentathlon. It's our last long course gala in the season, or for the long course season. Because it's the last gala, we didn't have too high expectations because quite a big team of ours is going to the South African Junior Nationals on Monday. So this is just to see after a hard week of training how well prepared they are mentally, if they are strong enough to see how well they do with coping under stress, if the training that we did up to now is up to standard. So keeping all that in mind, we're fairly happy with how they performed because it's a gala with very short rest intervals, so it's one event after the other. So we don't necessarily expect personal best times in each race, although we did see some still performing over or swimming faster than their personal best. So all in all, we're fairly happy with how the team performed.
Do you think that after today's performances, do you think that they are ready for the competition set to take place in South Africa?
Definitely. So they will have a slight or light training tomorrow still, then they have a short rest until they start on Wednesday. So in that time they will recuperate quite enough. They have done all the preparations in the months leading up to this gala, so I think we'll see some really good performances and a team that is definitely ready to handle whatever is thrown at them at the South African Junior Nationals.
All right, thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Kel Velman. I'm part of the Dolphin Swimming Club. The upcoming Senior Nationals in SA. How I'm preparing for it, like every morning we have training. Do dry land, afternoon it's a 2-hour swim, mornings is 1.5 hours, dry land is like an hour. and then I took part in the aqua pentathlon today. It went okay, I guess, like not far away from my talents, but there's still space for improvement.
Do you think that the pentathlon prepared you for the SA Nationals?
Yes, because it's event after event, it showed me basically my fitness level and what I need to improve in order to like be ready for it.
Thank you.
Well, as we celebrate 23 years of independence, Sport Rap meets one of Namibia's prodigal son, Jeremiah Nakathila, who tells us a little about his story of boxing, his boxing career, that is. Let us hear it from the man himself.
Jeremiah Nakathila, aka Loki. You have been here on this show on several occasions, speaking about maybe current mood, fights, and all that. But one thing that we have not done yet, and one thing that I'm sure the general public would like to hear from the horse's mouth, is who Jeremiah Nakathila is. Personally, where he comes from, where he was born, where he attended school and all. Although articles has been done about that, we haven't heard from Nakathila himself speaking, actually telling us just about his past. Can you, we are actually entering, that is 33 years of independence, and we regard you as one of those sports stars, inspirational sports stars that has done a lot in terms of boxing for this country. But first, can you just tell us about who Jeremiah Nakathila is, where Jeremiah Nakathila was born?
Yeah, no, thank you, Jesse, for this time around. I myself, Jeremiah Nakathila, all the way from Eunda village in Umsati region. That's where I grew up, that's where I was born. I attended my school at Eunda and later at Ombome Combined School. Yeah, I've been there my whole life. I'm a village guy.
Herding goats
just a
and
village
all.
boy, yeah. And most
cattle.
of my lifestyle, I spent it, I was at the cattle post. That's where I spent most of my time, like especially from when I was grade 2 until when I was in grade 10. Luckily, I passed grade 10. I think I would be more looking after cattle, especially that my father had a lot of cattle by then.
So that was in the early 90s.
That was in the early 90s, from 96 or 95, 94 there, when I started grade 1.
So you attended these schools. Back in those schools, especially in the north, was sport a popular thing?
Yeah, the only sport which was there, it was soccer and athletic. So, but I took part, and I was take part at the athlete, like on a distance. I was a distance runner at that time. I tried to also soccer. I was a tough defender. Yeah, soccer, I was a tough defender there, and yeah, those were sport code that were just
that were popular.
Yes.
So boxing was just probably not a sport, but just when somebody
Yeah.
touches your things back then.
Yes, boxing was never part of the sport back at the village, and the only time, as our culture, there are times whereby you wrestle with each other and stuff. We like doing it sometimes for fun, sometimes when we are serious, but I always win, those type of games.
Oh, so that's where you realize that maybe I have some more potential than just kicking a ball, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so but where did your interest for sport grow?
Yeah, so I just started realizing I was kind of, I like kind of relate to fights. I like, even if maybe we had a water hole, sometimes I just try to challenge my guys, my age mate. Hey, let's box. But I never really saw somebody fighting. Or that time I didn't even hear about any boxer, but just in me, I just feel like, oh, I think I just try to wrestle with them. But my dream for boxing came to light when I was in grade 11 at Nyoma Secondary School. That's where I started hearing about boxing, about Hitman, Harry Simon, And although I didn't really see their pictures or see them on TV, I started hearing about
just heard the
Harry
names.
Simon. Yeah, I just heard the name Harry Simon. There's a boxer Harry Simon. There's a boxer Hitman. There was Tyson Oshona. Then it's when at school I start feel like, can we have boxing at school? And I managed to have boxing in Nyoma. I think that was the only time boxing was there. So I create that platform that we should have boxing, not just soccer. Some of us we don't want to do soccer, but we want to do boxing.
Wow.
So that's how I come up. Even after school study in the evening, I go, in the dining, in the living room there. You try, just say, hey, come here. I want to box. I don't know. I didn't really know what I was doing,
but it was actually
later I understand when I came to Windhoek.
So you were there, stayed there in the north, and then came to the capital city. I'm sure you landed here the first time. Everyone is always surprised. Wow, such a big city and all that. But you came. What made you actually start boxing here in Windhoek, and how did you manage that?
Yeah, when I came to Windhoek, I didn't really take time. I just asked, where is a boxing gym? That's what I asked my brothers. So, and I asked, no, where is
you had siblings here?
Yeah, I had siblings here. My brothers were here already. Okay. So I asked them. However, they didn't take me there. I just have to go myself and look for where is a gym, asking where is a boxing gym, where do people train, until I get to Soweto Boxing Club. Now it's Salute, but it was Soweto Boxing Club, where Tobias Nasilongo and Elifas Namjebo, they trained. Those were my first coach there at the Salute Boxing. Currently it's Salute Boxing Gym. That's where I started boxing, real boxing.
Yes.
However, when I started, I found guys already that they've been there, but
Sparing
when I start, I was beating them.
You were beating them.
That's the coach, my coach, Tobias Nasilongo, he was so interested. Like, this guy just started now, but the guy is beating. That's why even when I started, there was a time, they called me No Respect. When that name came from Tobias Nasilongo, he said, no, this guy has no respect. The big guys, the guys that they've been there, some guys that were in the national team, I was defeating them.
Yes.
So
Loki, I'm coming. How did you get the approval of your parents to box? Because I'm sure any parent would be very concerned about his child getting into the ring and throwing punches. I mean, back then was it not difficult to convince the elders?
Yeah, it was tough, because when I came to Windhoek, I came to school. I was schooling. And then I was doing electrical at VTC. So now, later they heard, because later I left school.
Just for boxing.
Yeah, I left school for boxing. And the parents were not really happy. My parents were like, no, boxing, where will boxing take you? Yeah, parents, they don't really consider sport apart from school. They only look at the school, but they don't really consider sport. So.
Yes. You went on and became a global champion. You went on and became an African champion. You went on and moved up the weight now from lightweight, and you are a big guy now. We can also see, I think, the growth in terms of your boxing career and years. I think muscles growing and all that. Your next step right now, where to?
Yeah, so my next step now, I'm highly ranked in the world right now in terms of in the lightweight. That's a very competitive weight. You talk about David Henry, talk about Giovante, you talk all the big Romacheko, all the names, those are the lightweight, and I'm in the top of the lightweight. I'm one of the top in the lightweight division. I'm highly ranked by the WBC, WBO, those are big organizations in the world. And I'm looking forward, I put up a big victory there in Las Vegas, the last time I was
in the USA.
In the USA, and now I came back, I'm preparing hard.
Yeah,
for the
just
next
for
fight,
any-
which we are going to officially announce in a shorter time with my promoter, Nesta Tobias. Yeah, for me, I just to be in the gym and then be ready.
33 years, we're going into another birthday celebration for Namibia and sport. What do you think Namibia has achieved in the last 33 years, especially in terms of boxing?
No, we have achieved a lot, which whereby most of the African countries they never achieved. Even those that got independence before Namibia, they never achieved. They never had a world champion, a boxer who is a world champion. But at least Namibia, we successful had produced four world champions. That's a big achievement for the country
And a lot
and
of
Africa
African
at large.
champions.
Yeah, so it helps a lot. When we got independence, it's where we have freedom. Back in the days, our boxers we were not really like having a license for sport like boxing. That's why most of our boxers they were going to South Africa, like the Harry Simon, they were more in South
the
Africa.
Nestas,
Yes,
who
Nestas,
you are
they were just
fighting
based
for.
on South Africa. We even have saw some pictures whereby they are under Springbok team. They are under Springbok team. So, but after independence, everything now is smooth. We have access to everything. We have access to boxing, to sport, and we are producing world-class champions.
Any message as we go to number 33?
Yeah, the message to the whole country, let's just be positive and do positive stuff for our country. I know there's a lot of commotion, but we should just remain peaceful and then follow, do what is right for us and what can benefit the community, the Namibian community, and everyone around, just to at least accommodate each other. 33 years of independence, those are a lot, and the government itself have done enough, also have done big changes to put the country at this level where it is now, school, hospital, all those things. So I'm proud to be a Namibian, and I'm proud for my government, what they have done.
Thank you so much, Loki. It has been a privilege having you here.
No, it's a pleasure.
Well, that was Jeremiah Nakathila telling us about his life story. We will now go for a short break before our spotlight is on Freddie Muya. Well, Namibia Sports Commission Chief Administrator Freddie Muya is urging sports federations that are yet to supply the audits and documents for evaluations to do so in due course in order to avoid the consequences. Well, Sports Rap had a chat with Muya, and this is what he had to say.
Good day, Master Muya, and welcome to the Sport Rap Show.
Good day.
Yes, I think it is indeed a very important stage in Namibian sports. One of the things that we can mention is the fact that federations now are requested to submit, that is their documents, just for the categorization and all that. How has that process been?
Thank you. Compliance is applicable to all the sectors. So in sport, we also apply compliance. But how do we measure compliance? Is we use categorization of sports code that we reward those who are in compliance in terms of all the key areas that promote sport in this country. So as such, we know that the first exercise was 2018, and now we are doing the second exercise because it's a period of 4 years. Very happy that, yes, indeed, quite 75% of our affiliates have submitted on the due date, which was the 10th of March. However, we still have plus or minus 30% of our federation that did not submit any of the documents. Surprisingly, some of the federations that we can call National Sports Code, I'm sorry to mention that indeed it's not good. We have got also one of the federations for me that could actually become a National Sports Code soon, which is a priority sports code, but they did not also do their submission.
Have they probably contacted the office to give an explanation as to why they have not submitted anything?
Obviously, when you're a sick person, you come to the hospital yourself. The hospital does not come to you. But in our case, the hospital managed to move from the hospital itself to the people. We did that exercise last week by calling them to say, please, you are a sick person there where you are. Come to the hospital and get treatment. But they did not do so. Imagine of that nature. So that's why today, again, we are appealing to them that they are delaying our process. We cannot say extension anymore. We can just say they must submit and they are going to be penalized out of the exercise. It's already, they're not in compliance. One of the items of compliance is how do you meet your due dates. Already they are losing points on the aspect of meeting due dates. So that's what we can actually sell to them.
Okay. Among the documents, what were they required to submit in general, all the federations?
If you look about the criteria have got 5 components. The most important component is about your presence in the regions, sport development, because the focus for the next 8 years, we are looking about sport development in the regions. So it means we look about your presence in the region. That counts 50% of the evaluation process. We also talk about governance matters, governance about your audited financial statement for the past 4 years, how you run your meetings, all empirical evidence of your minutes that have been conducted to see to it that, yes, indeed, there is proper governance in this organization now. We also look at, that count 25%. We also look about international participation, your achievement at international participation and other factors that are also counting up to the value of 100%.
As we speak, how many sport codes do we have in this country?
There are 56 sports codes, and that's why I say 70 to 75% have actually managed to hit our call. Because when I was looking, we have got around about close to 40 that have already submitted their documentation with us.
Good day everyone, time for international sports news, starting off with soccer news first from the English Premier League. It is news from Crystal Palace that announced a new coach, and that is Roy Hodgson, and he's well known to Crystal Palace. He coached them before up till 2021, and then he was replaced by Patrick Vieira, and it is Vieira that was now sacked by Crystal Palace. That's because in the last 12 games there was no victory, no win for Crystal Palace. It is Roy Hodgson that coached Crystal Palace for many years. He's also a former England national coach, and he will be the coach for the rest of the 2023 season with the games that's left for the year. He's coming out of retirement for that. Crystal Palace are still at the moment 12th on the log of the English Premier League. There's 20 teams on the English Premier League, but more significantly, they're just 3 points above the relegation zone. The last game was a 4-1 loss against Arsenal, and the next game will be a home game against Leicester City. That will be the first game for Roy Hodgson in charge. Continuing international sports news with motor racing news, it's Formula 1 racing news. It's the season got going now with 2 races done, Bahrain and Saudi Arabia. Already Red Bull Racing dominating with Max Verstappen leading 44 points. Sergio Perez also from Red Bull 43 points. And then third is at the moment Fernando Alonso with 30 points after 2 third positions. News or comments from other racing drivers. Firstly, Charles Leclerc from Ferrari that said Red Bull is currently in a different league. And then also they experienced Lewis Hamilton. Lewis Hamilton said that the current car called RB19 racing car is the fastest that he's ever seen. And that's a big statement from Lewis Hamilton. He also dominated from especially 2014 to 2016 and 2020 in his Mercedes-Benz. New regulations in 2022 allowed all the racing companies or racing teams to design new vehicles, and Red Bull got it right, and they've got very fast straight line speed. Continuing international sports news with rugby news, and it's news from New Zealand that there's a new coach after the World Cup that concludes in France later this year. It is Scott Robinson that's been appointed as the new All Black coach, and he will take over from Ian Foster. That is after the Rugby World Cup in France that will finish on the 28th of October this year. The 48-year-old Robinson, he got a 4-year deal, a 4-year contract with New Zealand Rugby, and he will be the national coach until the World Cup in Australia in 2027. He also played 23 tests for New Zealand, and he also coached the Crusaders to 6 Super Rugby titles. Closing off today's international golf news, sport news with golf news, and it is golf news from the World Match Play Championship that's going to start later this week. That's going to be in Austin in Texas. The big news there is that members of the Live Golf initiative, Live Golf series, that's a breakaway series initiated by Saudi Arabia, and they will not be able to play in the tournament. In fact, their entries have been rejected despite them qualifying on the world rankings. So players losing out, the players like Patrick Reed, he's the 2018 champion, Masters champion, and he will probably go to court because of this ruling as well. Other big names, Dustin Johnson, Sergio Garcia also, and also South African Louis Oosthuizen, all playing in the Live Golf initiative, not playing in this year's Dell Technologies World Match Play Series. The PGA announced that they rejected the entry, so they said the reason is that the players violated their conflicted event ruling. So that's international sports news for today. Hope you have a great sport day, and we talk again tomorrow. Goodbye.
Well, there you have it. That brings us to the end of today's Sport Tribe show. We will be back again tomorrow, same time and same place. Happy Independence and goodbye.